Orla O'Connor earlier welcomed my colleagues in the Oireachtas. Some of them are already here. Those of us who've joined us, Mick Wallace, Luke Flanagan, Aidan O'Riordan, Joan Collins, Claire Daly, Robert O'Dowd, Sean Kenny. It's great to have so many of us here in this room to listen to this analysis. It's going to make a difference, I really do believe. And now I'd like to ask Orla O'Connor, Acting CEO of the National Women's Council, to speak to us.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. And the reason the National Women's Council is here is that these changes they're critical for women. As Frances has already said, over 90% of those on the payment are lone mothers. And our view in the National Women's Council is that it's just simply too young. 7 is too young to require lone parents to seek full-time work. And I think it's particularly unfair, and I think this really has to be noted by all of the TDs, both here and in the Dáil today, that this involves the targeting of lone parents in a way that we're not targeting other people in our society. And particularly when the Department of Social Protection and all of the TDs in all of the political parties have signed up to the Joint Oireachtas report on the single working age payment. They have all said by signing up to that these proposals should not go ahead for other social welfare recipients. So why are we singling out lone parents in this way? And if this bill goes through, what message are we sending to our society about lone parents? And I think that's the particular thing that the Women's Council really finds appalling. But ourselves, alongside Open and Barnardos, we have continuously said, we've said since the proposals came out by the late Minister Seamus Brannan, that we support reforms to the payment and to services. But what's critical is we've continuously said that there needs to be the services. And if the services aren't there, then we shouldn't be moving ahead with the proposals. You know, Nora has clearly, spoken about childcare, and childcare is critical. We know from experience in terms of the provision of early years childcare that we've made it so unaffordable for so many parents. But when we're talking about after school and out of school childcare, we're not even talking about affordability. It's simply not there. It doesn't exist. And these sort of promises that it's suddenly going to appear out of the blue, they're not realistic. We're not foolish. We know that's not going to happen. And it's more than just childcare. It is also about flexible education and training. We still provide mainstream full-time courses that start at 8:30 in the morning. How can parents access these? Why have we not even moved on that small bit? And are we to expect that, those changes are going to be made within a few months? So the services are key, and unless they're in place, then these proposals should not be moving ahead. And I think what we want to sort of finish on is that we do believe that even in this late hour, there is an opportunity for change. Because if we don't change these proposals, we will consign lone parents to living in poverty, and we will also consign them to being in low-paid, very vulnerable employment, and also using very low-quality childcare. And that's not good for children, it's not good for mothers, it's not good for lone parents, and it's not good for Irish society. And that's why we do really appeal to the Minister today to pull back and to make those changes. And if not, then we ask UTDs to vote against this bill. Thank you.